Hazbin Hotel has released their first half of the first season. I have mixed feelings about the show so far, but before I even get into it, I just want to say it's absolutely amazing what Hazbin Hotel has been able to accomplish, and I hope it becomes really successful because this is a marketing place that often is not shedding a light on because high studios don't find anything on YouTube to be professional. With my mixed feelings, I'm gonna just break them down to each episode to make it easier, hopefully.
Your choice.
This episode felt really slow for me, honestly. A lot of the episodes do. Maybe it has to do with the animation style change. I'm so used to the weird, like, bouncy animation, it's just a little jarring. But I'm sure I'll get used to it, or the animation will get better. It's just a little stiff right now. Like another series watched as a kid, MLP also had the same issue. But eventually, as the seasons got on, the animation got a lot better. Another thing people are a little off about is the voice acting. Honestly, for me, Angel, Vaggie, Nifty all sound great. Charlie sounds a little less like poppy, bubbly. Just she has a lower pitch tone instead of a higher pitch. Husk is very different, but I quite like it. Specifically, I really like the voice actor, so I really don't mind. The only character that I'm kinda having an issue with is Alistair, aka the Radio Demon. The pilot voice actor had a lower tone, and I thought that maybe that was the issue, but I actually figured it out. It was because he talks slower. Here's an example.
I saw your fiasco on a picture show. You insisted on this noisy picture box advertisement.
Even though that he talks slower, he still has the same dialogue that makes him my favorite character.
Funny, I was going for hilarious.
There's like music in every episode, and I'm like 50-50 on the music. I don't mind the music, but I don't think every episode so far needs a song. I'm looking at you, episode 3. The Angel death plot is interesting. Just warning, it's not really my place of interest, so I might not really have a lot of opinions on that side. What made me really like Hazbin Hotel was the interesting dialogue and the different character dynamics that we had to go through. But I think they're doing a really good job of balancing it between these two factors. Maybe not as well executed. I'm looking at you, episode 3. This episode was slow, but it just takes time for this kind of style of storytelling, where you need to get the vibe of the characters before you get to really get into the depths and all sorts of things. There's definitely shows that are able to do that a lot quicker than others, but I don't mind having some slow episodes.
He's got a few more hits in him.
This was also slow, but definitely better compared to the first episode. Alistair is such an interesting character. I really am excited to see more stuff of his shenanigans. The whole thing of him being on a hiatus the same time that Charlie's mother went missing is really interesting.
Has it been now?
Not that long. Only 7 years.
What was he doing? All this weird stuff. I think the whole concept of the V's are really interesting. It was an aspect that I never got. The pilot wasn't able to express because there's only so much you can get into. Each of the V's pretty much have an episode. I really like the voice acting that they are doing with Valentino, this very mixed, muddly accent.
Kill this whole fucking family! What else would I be talking about? That fucking slut walked out on me.
It seems like Val thinks that he's the top, but in really he's the bottom of the three.
Ha! Gay!
But if they got rid of Val, they wouldn't have had nearly as much as the manpower, because Vox and the other V, they like to pull strings and are behind the scenes and don't get their hands dirty, pretty much like what Scar did in Lion King. And also, I don't fully understand how the overlords work. I think I have a general basis now, but I had to go outside of the show to understand clearer, and I'm not dishing on the show for this. I barely even know any mythological stuff. Hell, the most I know is the 7 deadly sins, and that's it. I don't really have a lot of background knowledge.
Salutations! Good to be back on the air!
I love that the Radio Demon and Vox, I don't know what his name is of Demon, but it's really funny seeing Alistair and Vox fight each other. It was a really fun song.
You for letting your guard down! Oh shit!
I also did not expect Sir Pentious to be a reoccurring character. I thought he'd show up a few times, what I think Cherry Bomb's gonna be, because we have yet to see her. He's definitely growing on me as a character, though. He's such a vibe, and I can't put a label type. The cute, pathetic character? I don't know. Anyways, It Starts With a Sorry is a really cute but weird song, and I feel Charlie doesn't really know what she's doing. She's trying really random stuff. The whole situation with the with the crackhead script. But I think that's kind of also the point. There's like a wall between her and Sinners, and I hope that she gets more development and learns how the world works and what Sinners deal with. Like, I hope that maybe we get an episode where people talk about their sins.
Some bad boys.
Okay, I think this might be, in quotation marks, the worst episode so far. I'm struggling to like this one. I really like the shenanigans and what they do with like the trust part of this episode. It's like really funny and the vibes. Gosh. The lore stuff and like the angel death plot, like I said, I'm not super interested in. It's just that I'm more intrigued by the character dynamics and shenanigans. Also, I kinda have a problem with like the animation and the songs in this one. But first, I just want to say that like I think Vaggie and Charlie are starting to have a similar problem with the M&Ms from Hell of a Boss. Like Vaggie is the equivalent to Millie. Those two characters are being really set aside and are suffering because these episodes are so short and the season in general is just really short, which is unfortunate.
You boys become men.
I like learning that Vaggie like was a fighter. I know she was like security and protector, but I didn't know like for a fact that like no, she was like military personnel kind of situation, which definitely explains a lot. Like her little spiel on the rooftop was really sweet and genuine, and I hope we get more of that because I do want to know more about Vaggie. When Charlie and Vaggie are together, they're just like they're a really great dynamic and bounce off each other so well. But I feel like Vaggie individually is really suffering because what she does is for Charlie. That might be her thing. Like, she's for Charlie because she doesn't even want to think about the BS or whatever she had to go through. But I hope we get to know why she's so focused on this one thing. I'm glad that we're starting to see like the characters start liking each other and it's not super hostile. They're slowly like getting comfortable with each other throughout the episode so far. The whole like situation with Alistair and the Egg Boys was cool, and I like the oldest Overlord. The way that he talked was
Nice.
I don't understand why. And I also think it's really a refreshing dynamic to see that like the wise one is actually a good wise one and not someone who is stuck in his old ways. And then everyone doesn't instantly jump on the new member because new, fast forward, so on and so forth. Let's get into my least favorite part of this episode. I feel like this episode didn't need the songs, and I'm not saying that the songs were bad, it just didn't fit well in this episode. The song during the meeting, I felt like the instruments were way too loud compared to the singers, and that's really weird because one of the singers were like really projecting, so it was just a lot of loudness, and I don't mind her being loud, but the instruments maybe could have just like been a little bit quieter. That's just like an editorial situation. This episode has slightly gotten better compared to episode 2 in the animation, but there was no direction visually of what was happening during both of these songs. Like the meeting song, I kind of understand why there wasn't any visuals, but like the song of wanting to protect whoever she's trying to protect, I'm guessing it's her children, but there's a chance that it's not. And I also think they're trying to reveal it later of like what happened to like show the whole thing. You could have alluded to it, like I don't know, like panic shadows or something like that. I don't know, there was just nothing visually sticking about it, and maybe there wasn't supposed to be anything visually because you were supposed to listen to the lyrics or something. I don't know. It was just really jarring compared to literally any of the other songs. Also, I want to say that the ballad song did not like hit. I think that's my least favorite song, and it maybe because I don't have any personal experience with what they were singing about, and I also don't have a strong connection to the characters that were singing. Compared to like songs that Stolas' song, I have personally gone through experiences that he's singing about, and also I have a really strong connection with him. He's my little baby owl. Anyways, that's more of a personal thing than a critical thing for the songs.
That's so mean.
So this is the strongest episode in what I like, the character dialogue and dynamics that I want to get into. Give me the nitty gritty, tell me your story kind of situation. Like I was saying, that it takes time to get the vibe of the characters before you can kind of get into this kind of feel. This episode showed a dynamic that we never really got into in the pilot. Like there was 2 scenes, the whole dynamic between Husk and Angel. In the pilot, it was very adamant that Angel was into or aggressively flirting with Husk. Throughout the show so far, Husk has really like picked at Angel for his act, quotation marks, because of him being the that knows all. He called out some things that I was talking about, Vaggy's situation and Charlie's situation. So I hope they're going to get into it because they did establish that, hey, there's something going on with you two mentally that y'all don't talk about. I like that Husk is a watcher because that's me. I'm a watcher, so that's very fun. The whole studio situation, warning to anybody who has not watched the show, essay, you have been advised. This episode had more of the verbal things that Angel have to deal with versus the visual that we got from the music video from Addicted. He tried to push Charlie. Oh, the panic in his eyes. This episode like slowly gave me a crawl up my spine. Every time something started messing up, he was stressing out and I was stressing out because I've seen those eyes before and it's, oh. And then when he told him to go into the dressing room, I was so uncomfortable. I was struggling. So well done, but I hate that it had to happen. And the whole situation with Charlie was what I was talking about, of how she needs like a reality check. The reality of what snares have to go through in hell. Like I said, there's a disconnect, and I want her to slowly break down that wall. She just needs to understand what situations go through. Like, does she even know how the overlords work? Who they are? She does, but not well, because like she knew who the radio demon was, and I'm pretty sure she knows who the V's are, but I don't think she knows them, you know. It's just like an interesting concept that I hope they get into a little bit. Poison is pretty much like the song version of Addicted, the same way that like Happy Day in Hell is like for the Happy Hotel song. You could also say Hell is Forever also did the Happy Hotel song. They both go together. But instead of it being how Angel kind of met Val, it's more of what Angel has to deal with work. And if you notice, this is really sad, so warning again, he's always a victim when he's in these kind of videos. Like, oh boy. Anyway, it just made me extra sad with that little detail. Also, the animation, his little dances that he did were so really great. But after the shoot, this dynamic with Husk and Angel, oh my god, it's so well executed, and there was like a really good build conversation before like this big reveal flash song to understand more stuff of like how Angel's brain work, you know. Same thing with like everybody else. Like I want to know like why they do the things they do, like what caused them to get to this path, you know. That's what I'm striving for in this story, so I'm really glad that we got a little bit with Angel and Husk. Husk's voice actor, I really like him in like everything else that he's been in. Like, oh my god, he's just really great. I didn't expect him to be in something like this. I was surprised, like pleasantly enough. I didn't know he could sing. I said this earlier about the animation, but the animation just like not even just in the songs, but just the animations are like on another level this episode. They're slowly rising in animation. They don't need to like go crazy. Like I'm happy if they stay on this level, you know. Also, both of the songs had really good like visual direction. Loser Baby also has that like a really simple like color changing palette of them just being together in the void pretty much. And also their little dances, like look at Husk and his little singing in the rain kind of dance. If I go back even to the other episodes with Happy Day in Hell and Hell is Forever, we got to see what was going on in the city while she was walking to the office, and we got to see the weird development of Angel stuff, just like really simple stuff that they added to make it more visually interesting, but for whatever reason they made it different in episode 3. So that's kind of what I was saying about how it's really jarring and really not anything visually going on in those two songs in episode 3. That's what we have so far. Those are the first 4 episodes of Hazbin Hotel. I'm really enjoying the show so far. Like, even though I have like mixed feelings about certain things, it definitely seems like the more I watch it, the more I listen to something, like the meh, like my first impressions go down. I don't like doing reviews on things being my first impression because sometimes I miss details or not paying attention to certain things, because I didn't even hear Huss say that he was an overlord. Like, it did not click to me when he said it. Obviously there are songs that I instantly liked, like Loser Baby, but I've really grown to certain songs. I'm looking at you, Respectless. I'm excited for the next episode. I'm hoping that it might confront Charlie's problems that she's ignoring. We'll see how that goes. If there's anything that I want from the rest of the season, is I want to learn more about Vaggy. I could literally learn absolutely nothing about Nifty, and I will be having such a vibe with her. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my thoughts so far, and I hope you would write down what you guys thought in your comments below. Did you have good, bad first impressions? Did it take you some time to come around to the show? Let me know. Anyways, Bye, and keep on binging, my Benedict Honors.